Weekly Profit Talk. As the name implies, we do this every single week. This happens on Wednesday at 8:30 Mountain Time. That is, of course, 7:30 if you're on the Pacific Coast and 10:30 on the East Coast. And if you happen to be in our central zone here in the United States, Chicago and Houston, that would, of course, be at 10:30. So, welcome. Oh, I beg your pardon. That's not true. 9:30. Sorry. It is still the morning. How's everyone doing? My name's Eric, and this week's topic is accounting for your practice's success. Now, we talk every single week about the things that affect the bottom line or net profit in your medical practice, and accounting for where that net profit comes from is certainly a key part of getting to the bottom. Now, let's go over again. The definition of profit is basically the money that's left over after you've paid all of your staffing and selling and administrative costs. You have money flowing in, revenues. Hopefully you're providing services, and your claims are getting paid. That's money in. And then the money out, of course, are the things that I mentioned, your costs. And the net result, the bottom line, as we call it, is your net profit. And that is what we're here to talk about. Accounting for your practice's success is simply a matter of affecting the top so that more is coming in, and the middle and the bottom so that less is going out. In simplistic terms, accounting for anybody is a two-sided or binary natured phenomenon. In other words, every single transaction that ever occurs, even if in your personal life, has two sides to it. Imagine, for example, that you're making your monthly payment on your credit card bill. So you would be debiting cash, money going out, and you would be crediting the credit or the liability, which is your credit card. Now, the way that works is that some accounts have a right-sided tendency, some have left-sided. In other words, some are what we call debit balance accounts. Assets are a debit balance account, for example, and liabilities are a credit. So there are some other things. Let's say, for example, we're talking about your claims, and that's always a big one. So let me go to... Sorry, go ahead and pick this up. And by the way, we are streaming this live on YouTube and Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. If you do have a comment or a question and I catch it in time, we've got chat enabled on all three of our media. So you can pop a question in if you have one. So as we said, money coming in minus your staffing, which is a cost of goods sold expense, technically, that results in gross profit, and then you subtract all of your other expenses, and that gives you your net profit, or as we call the bottom line. Now, at the top, we're talking about claims receivables, are of course going to be the big thing in any medical practice. If you are hoping to have any kind of success and you practice conventional Western medicine, you are going to be dealing with insurance companies or the government behaving like an insurance company, like Medicare, Medicaid, that sort of thing. So TRICARE is another one. Who pays first? Who pays second? Who's responsible? When do you bill the patient to shake loose some action on one of the insurances? Because sometimes they drag their feet. And I'm here to tell you that they're actually doing that on purpose. The longer that a large entity worth millions of dollars can hang on to a dollar, the more money they make from it. So they would vehemently deny that if you ask them, but it's true. They're going to pay at the very last possible legitimate minute, and that's just the way it is. Life is like that when you're dealing with large companies. So everybody's unique, and dealing with claims management, of course, is always an issue. Staffing for growth as well as for competency is always going to be big. You want every single patient that walks through your doors to have a 5-star experience, and the people that you hire to provide that experience are, of course, key to that. Another thing to think about, capitation revenue. I don't see this very often, and smaller practices probably won't even consider this, but large contracts with major companies are something that might be worth considering at some point. Of course, you do have to consider the cons as well as the pros of that. One of the big things that I can think of course, would be having someone's quotas or outside oversight in your business. And you want to weigh that versus the benefit of doing it, of course. So some of your selling administrative expenses, a lot of these, some of these maybe you haven't thought about very much, but at some point, and we get to the bottom, rent, leasehold, and investment in commercial real estate. What if you get to the point where, in fact, you are kind of tired of paying somebody else's triple R on a commercial property and thinking about investment? Because as everybody knows, we live in inflationary times. We have since World War II. Okay, so because of that, real estate is going to be, over the long haul, like the stock market, an investment that does have a return over time. Now, there are going to be times where that isn't the case and everybody panics and the sky's falling in and everything. But savvy investors call these corrections, and they eventually even themselves out. And for that reason, you may be thinking about, in fact, actually investing in a space to perform your practice without having to make somebody else wealthy and pay off their mortgage. Asset depreciation strategies and cost segregation. This is a thing that I came across quite a bit in real estate accounting, but it counts for basically anybody that has large investments. You are going to, at some point, need big, heavy equipment, X-ray machines, other diagnostic equipment, that sort of thing. Ensuring that a depreciation strategy, the definition of that is to basically write something off with the shortest possible life so that you're able to write off more of it each year. And also using things such as bonus depreciation, or perhaps even something called Section 179. If you qualify, you might be able to write off all of a investment in 1 year, but you may not always want to. There are advantages also to carrying over an expense into future years. So sitting down and looking at all that is critically important. And of course, having a good business advisory level accounting a person on your side can certainly help with that. Financial statements are the bare minimum. That's what I call already happened metrics. And what that means is basically History 101. Pulling out your holy trinity of financials are going to give you an idea of what has happened in the month just passed. That holy trinity being the balance sheet, profit and loss statement, which is also known as an income statement, and you have a statement of cash flows. And cash flows are different from profit. There are a number of things that take money out of your business that don't have anything to do with the money that you're making. So, and of course, if you go for a level of advisory and micro forecasting, I like to term it, which is basically plugging in what if scenarios and analyzing the data to see exactly what sort of financial decisions that you make result in potential income versus expense 6 months, 12 months, even 3 years down the road. This sort of accounting is actually the next level, and it's actually called comprehensive client accounting services, and it goes beyond, advisory services. It goes beyond just the straight debit versus credit accounting, and this is the sort of thing that can result in a huge boost to your business. advisory services can take you from making money to growing a business and scaling and getting larger year by year. So it can be the difference between getting by and getting wealthy. So with that, if you have any questions about anything at all, we, like I say, are on all three different media: YouTube, Facebook, as well as, of course, LinkedIn. Pop a question in any of those, or you can write to us. Our website, of course, is owingsllc.com. If you go there or comment in any of the three social media, and in fact, if you have a question and it's a great question, we will read it live on the air next week when we do Weekly Profit Talk once again. That will be a Wednesday, 8:30 Mountain Time. So until then, we hope you have a great day, awesome rest of your week. And if you have a chance, do something randomly kind for a stranger.